Hey, everybody.
Hello and welcome to the Bright Polar Show.
Let's start with doing our weekly check-in with you. See where you're at right now.
I'm feeling pretty good. I have a lot of things to look forward to, which always helps. My parents are visiting, and they get in about an hour, so I haven't seen them in a while. Not too long, just about a month or so. And then besides that, I have the Portland writing convention on Friday. So in 2 days, where I'm going to try to pitch my book and try to get it sold but to a literary agent who will then try to get it sold to a publisher. So I have some things that are keeping me busy. Other than that, just working the 80, 90-hour weeks and would be losing my mind a little bit.
So I imagine, like, yeah, your pitching has to be just as good as, if not better than, the actual story telling and story writing, and for this kind of thing.
It's funny. It's got to be better because so the way that it works is you buy it's like a $200 fee for the conference, and then it's $30 to pitch 10 minutes to these agents. And with these 10 minutes, you're only supposed to get 90 seconds to pitch and the rest is a Q&A.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And so what I almost wanted to do was I almost wanted to book like 80 minutes with the same agent and then just like bring a copy of my manuscript and be like, here, read it. You have 8. It's that good. But then I read closely and it said that you couldn't like you're not allowed to bring any equipment. So I was like, oh, I guess I'll
Uh,
just have.
well, I think you'll thrive in this environment, especially if you're prepared. You know your work. You know your strengths. I think you're gonna do well in this environment. Is it only like Is there like multiple like panels you go before, or is it just one?
No, there's panels throughout the whole day, and then there's like 6 literary agents. And they all have time slots, so they're just getting pitched to all day. There's one person, named Coco Freeman. We'll see if I end up signing with her. She has she starts just at 9:20, and I'm her last one at 4:50.
I was wondering about the timing on if there's strategy in this. Like, hopefully she's not fatigued. You know what I mean, with the pitches by the time she gets to you, or maybe she's like, oh yeah, so many bad ideas. Hopefully now, finally a good one.
Yeah, I just like I said, I've never actually they're a unicorn. I've never actually met a literary agent. It's because you I don't so until Friday I'm not sure that they actually exist. So I've been sending out to my book to literary agents for months and I just don't get any responses. And but hopefully the face-to-face meeting I'll be able to sell them on the idea and then they'll be like, "What are you doing?" I'll be like, "I'm walking Africa." And they'll be like, "Oh, that's a little interesting. Tell me more." And then I'll have their attention.
Yeah, yeah, cool. I think that's yeah, and that's Friday. You said.
Friday from 9 to 5.
Cool. And you mentioned that having stuff to look forward to helps a lot. I,
It's
I think that's I think that's universal for people. Um, just like even work. Like I got to have a vacation scheduled sometime this year, and it makes work bearable. I think that's pretty common for people to have like something to look forward to.
when you vacation, all right, so that's an interesting point. I want to talk about this a little bit. The concept between vacation versus travel. Are you a vacationer or are you a traveler? And do you
So
distinguish?
what? Yeah, what's your? How would you define those things? Because I'm not kind of sure.
Okay, vacation, I'm going somewhere, I'm going to a resort, I'm being pampered, and I'm spending a lot of money. Travel, I'm going to a part of the world where I have to kind of work, like I got to walk a lot. I'm carrying my own stuff. I'm seeing places. I'm tired, but I'm like grind. So if I traveled through East Africa and a lot of the way through Europe and Brazil, but this past February is my dad's 70th birthday, and we vacationed in Spain. Like we stayed at a resort and we hung out by the beach.
Okay. I would say I'm in the middle of that. A vacation to me would be cool if like you're getting up early and you're hiking and exploring, and I don't like to sit by the pool. That's just not my jam. I like to go and do and be tired, like you said. Maybe not work, but go and do and go and do. That's a vacation to me, I guess.
Okay, yeah. So I strictly go to the travel thing. Like I don't like sitting still. As you can see from my work schedule right now, part of it's needing money, part of it's not being able to sit still. But yeah, if I'm sitting by a beach, first of all, I'm not like like my complexion, like I'm not designed to be outdoors under hot sun for long periods of time. That's we talked about this with the Africa thing. I need to cover up. But the leisurely activities that are the Stupak family, my family, is like, let's go to the beach and go tanning for 4 hours. Like that's so boring.
Yeah. Um, so one of the topics I want to talk about, speaking of travel, is I want to hear some tips because there's all sorts of different ways to travel: walking, biking, flying, driving, and people do it a lot. And there's so many different things you can do to make your experience better, save time, save energy, save money. I'm sure you've picked up a lot of different tricks as you've been doing this.
Yeah, so I found that the most for me, like so much of it is money, right? Like if you have money, like you can you can have a lot more flexibility in what you do and how you do it. But I never have too much money. So what I'll do is I'll do Skyscanner, which is a website, and it's flights. Basically, I've been told that they don't make any money or they don't make that much money on their flights. They pool like the cheapest connecting flights possible. It's cheaper than Google Flights. They like I want to go here to there. You could search by a whole month even if you want, and you can go like I'm going from here to Paris to South Africa for like 650. Um,
Wow.
yeah, but it's like a 4-day trip. It's like a 3-day trip. Like I'll have a day and a half layover in Paris, which is but it's also during the festival of music, so I'll be able to see that too. Um, oh, what were we talking about? We're talking about travel tips. We're talking about how to do it cheap. King Bob
Hey,
the
King Bob the Fourth.
Yeah. So, so that's how I do it cheap. And then once I'm there, I found that the most expensive thing about traveling is the actual act of traveling. Like once you're there, it can be a lot cheaper. So, like if I'm getting to Africa or getting to Spain is more expensive than actually being there. And then once I'm there, I try to talk to locals. Like, where do you buy this? Where do you go and get this? Like, where's direction for this? Because your phone only really helps you so much at that point.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then, yeah, it totally makes sense that the hardest part is like getting to your destination, and then you feel like you're pretty good once you get there. Okay,
Speaking the language helps. I found that like if I'm spending 100% of my money, say I have $10,000, let's make it easy, and I have a full year in a spot, I'm gonna spend 80% of that. I'm gonna spend 8,000 of that in the first 2 months because I just don't know how to spend my money in that area yet. It's new to me. I buy things at an inefficient place. I I buy things I don't need. I buy things that I don't realize that I don't want yet. And then toward the end of the trip, I'm like, "Oh, I don't need that as much," or "This is the place to go to get this," and I've established myself as more of a local in the area.
and one tip that kind of my buddy told me about, if if you're around a hotel in the morning when they're doing all the cleaning, you can they open up all the doors to let them kind of air out after cleaning, and you can sneak in there and shower and stuff when and nobody will ever find out because they leave all the doors open kind of in the morning in hotels. There's a free shower for you if
Yeah,
you need.
that's neat. I didn't yeah, that's creative as heck. I didn't even think about that. But, like, oftentimes, if you go to hostels, like, you can get $5 a night, and although that's a risk too because then you're in an 8-bedroom dorm and there's always people hooking up, like, always. And it's usually will surprise you, sometimes you get, like, the travelers, the 25-year-olds that are hooking up in the bed right next to you, but sometimes it's, like, the 60-year-olds.
Okay. Um, Interesting. Do you have any like flight airport stuff? I mean, you kind of shared that tip on kind of a cheaper way to fly, but do you have any like tips to make your experience better in the airport or flying or anything like that?
I just Airport is like the war, like, I go to war when I go to travel. I It's never gonna be fun, it's never gonna be cheap. Uh, I'm in it for the long haul. I That's how I got used to, like, taking long walks because I'd have, like, these 17-hour layovers during COVID where I couldn't leave the airport, and I would just walk for, like, 14 straight hours. Um, I tried to slow down my mind, slow down my brain, and just say, like, "You know what, Ryan? It's gonna be, like, a hard 3 days, 4 days." And that's why I'm usually don't get excited for a trip until I'm already there because I know the airport kind of awaits me. So I've never figured out a way to do it I know some people love flying. They do the domestic thing. They'll go first class. They'll spend a lot of money. But for me, it's like if I could spend $350 on a flight and have it in on the same flight you're spending 1,200 and we're going to the same location, like give me an extra 2 or 3 days to get there. That's fine. Like I don't care. Like you're paying me $200, $300 a day to get there slower.
One trick that I've learned, and I've had a couple people experience too, is on a flight where you pick your own seat, sit as far back as you can, chit chat with the stewardesses, and they'll hook you up with free stuff.
Really?
Yep, and I've experienced that too. Like if you're just nice and friendly, and like they're people, they're bored. They, if you're make it fun and interesting for them, they'll get you some free drinks or snacks or whatever.
There's on the long flights, like anything longer than 10 hours, there's traditionally it's not full. So like if you fly domestic, you're always going to have people right in your lap, like to the left of you, to the right of you. But anything over 10 hours, whether you're going from across the Atlantic or down south to Africa, it's going to be you're going to have a couple empty seats. And at that point, it's just like you got to go and fight for yours, basically. Like it's a zero sum proposition. So there was one where I was flying back from Spain to California, and it was 12 hours, and I had one person next to me, two seats to the right of me. We were in like a middle four, as there was like people on the outside, and I just looked at him I was like, "Bro, you got to go and you got to sit over there. Like, there's a couple empty seats. I'm gonna take these middle ones." He goes like, "Okay, cool." And he had his own row, but like I was like, "You got to go now. They're gonna break this. They're gonna do the safety instructions, and then we got to go and get it.
Oh, there's a good tip right there.
Be assertive." Yeah.
Be assertive. Yeah, cool. Um, anyway, so we're about the 12-minute mark. I think we can wrap it up for today. It's cool that you get to see your parents for a little bit. Super good luck on Friday. Can't wait to hear how that goes.
Yeah, I'll give you the rundown after the book presentation and see how it goes. And if I get signed, you'll know by next week.
Cool, exciting.
All right. Take care, everybody.
All right, we'll see you soon.